now is definitely, most certainly, not the time to buy real estate.
Oh my gosh, in the Northern Virginia real estate market? Oh man. All right, let's dive into it. And go.
Hey everybody.
Sean and Kelly here, Price and Price Group of Sampson Properties. And today we are going to dive into the many reasons that we hear from buyers as to why they do not want to buy right now. And we're going to discover, is this a mistake or is it actually true? We'll have to find out.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so we're going to dive into the 5 most common mistakes that we hear. Okay, all right. First one is
I need 20% down.
Yes, we hear that all the time. Everybody thinks that, yeah.
Yeah, they do think that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why anymore.
A lot of them do it because they want to avoid the PMI.
That's so small.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact is you don't need that. For FHA, 3.5%. For VA, 0. Conventional, 10, 5. Some programs, there have been 1% down.
3%, 0%. Yeah.
Yes.
You have first-time homebuyer grants. You have all kinds of different
doctors
different
programs.
Yep.
I mean, there are some teacher career programs. There's so many things out there. You do not need 20% down.
Yep.
And sometimes that, even if you do have to pay the PMI, it doesn't factor in as much as what Sean's about to show you. Yeah,
because you could dive in on the PMI and run a number analysis, what we're about to do, and just see like how long it would take you to break even versus saving up for the 20%.
Yeah, and fun fact, one of the things we did with our house in Niceville, I think we put 10% down. So we had PMI for a little bit of time.
Yes.
And then when we could, we paid extra down, like per month. Like you put a little bit extra towards the principal, so that within, I think, 2 or 3 years, we ended up meeting that 20% mark, and we submitted the paperwork to have them rerun it, and we got the PMI off in that amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's another way you can get into it, save everything he's about to go into with you, and get that time to kind of chip away at it that way.
Yeah, and there are other options. We've seen lenders do things like where the way the loan was structured, they only had 10% down. But they needed to do a 20% down payment because of something with the jumbo loan limits or something. So they did a HELOC out for the other 10%. So there's all kinds of ways to do this.
And then the HELOC is paid off sooner, or you can even use that for other investments. There are so many other ways. So this is where we're busting that myth altogether. You do not need 20% down to buy a house.
So let's see if it actually costs you to do this. Okay?
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Just making fun of my hands all the time. Okay, so we have we're going to use a $600,000 home as the example on this. To do 20% down on that home, you would need $120,000. Let's say you have, to do 3% down, you need $18,000. The difference on that's $102,000. Okay, let's say you're able to save. You're like in a good situation. You can save $20,000 a year. That's going to take you 5 years to purchase that home. Okay.
If you still are like, I have to have 20%, an extra 5 years. So what happens 5 years later to that same house?
Same house. 5 years later, with an average of 4% appreciation, that house is now $730,000. You have lost the appreciation of $130,000. You've missed out on that while you were working to save your 20%. You're also missed out on paying down that principal. So the number that I came up with was $18,000. I've seen other examples, so it just depends on what your interest rate is. But this could be as high as $31,000 in the equity that you've paid down. And the kicker is now for that 120 or that 20% down on a $730,000 house, you need $146,000. So the goal line has moved, and you can't even afford to do the house. You have to wait at least another year.
You keep chasing it down.
Yeah.
And one question I think everybody would probably have is like, okay, these numbers make a lot of sense, assuming there's 4% appreciation, but, and we're going to get to this myth later, so help me now, are we still kind of seeing 4% appreciation in our area? I know not in every area, but in Northern Virginia?
Yeah, average is 3 to 5% in general. We've seen much higher, obviously, over the COVID years. That's why we're using a split on that 3 to 5%.
Yeah, so the COVID years, that was kind of like 8, right? Wasn't it 8 to 12?
One year it was like 16, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so this 4 is accurate for our area and for 2026, for August 2026.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's say there's no appreciation. You've still lost out on that debt pay down, which we'll get, and we're assuming you were probably renting, and we'll get into the rental scenario next.
So the key is if you had enough income to buy today, would waiting 5 years actually make a 20% financial difference for you?
No, you're 148,000 lost. Yeah, and what do you like to say about your bank account?
Okay, so your home is your piggy bank. right? But I'm
That's right.
saving that for the other slide.
Oh, you're okay.
Thank you for letting me allude to it now.
All right, we'll
Stop
dive into
rushing
that.
me.
Yes, sorry. All right, mistake number 2. Oh, I hate this.
I know.
all the time.
Waiting for interest rates to drop.
Yes. So what happens when the interest rates drop, Cal? Even if they drop for a period of 2 weeks, what do we see happen immediately in the market?
Even if it's not like everybody's waiting for this whole 1% and 2% interest rate drop, even if it drops 0.25%, everybody like you comes out in droves looking at the same property, making the same offers, better offers than you half the time. And you'll learn it after 10.
Yep.
And then you're the one making better offers than the other people finally getting off their duffs to do the same thing. And so the prices go up, you're waiving contingencies, and you've paid more for the property, to the point that the interest rate of 0.25%, even 1%, doesn't even factor out.
Well, let's look at it. Let's see if it makes financial sense.
Please, now I'm doing that.
Now it's passion.
It is passion.
All right.
Just bit more passion.
More passion. All right. We are on the same $600,000 house. Now we're going to assume 20% just for calculations, but we already busted that.
Just so that all of you who are still stuck in, like, I'm going to put 20% down.
That's right.
We're going to go with it.
Okay. So you have $480,000 financed at 7%, which is around where we are with the interest rates right now.
Yeah.
Monthly principal and interest. Now this is not insurance and taxes, but the principal and interest is going to be $31.9345. Okay, that's going to be your monthly payment. The bidding wars begin, or you waited a year, so there's another 4% of appreciation, and the bidding wars begin. Some combination of things. You're going to be paying more for that house. So I'm
telling you, this happens.
Yeah, I just picked an arbitrary 9% increase. Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah, it's a fair. It's just waiting a year. That would be pretty fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a 20% down payment. It's $130,000 for your down payment because it's a $650,000 home. You're financing $520,000 at that coveted 1% discount.
It's a whole 1% lower.
So what does that do to your monthly payment? It knocks off $75.79.
Congratulations!
Yes.
You get more coffee.
That's right. So how long does it take to break even from a situation like this? Does it make financial sense? Well, it would take you for the extra $10,000 that you had to come up with in the down payment. I'm not even talking about the extra $50,000 you had to pay for the property yet. That $75.79 would take you 11 years to break even on that. So if you're planning on staying in the home for 11 years, you're going to start getting a little bit of a return on that investment.
And you've enjoyed more coffee.
Yeah, a lot more coffee. To break even on the extra $50,000 in sales price is 55 years. You're never going to break even. Now, I will say, I did the research and I ran out the total mortgage spend. So if you had and held onto that house for the entire 30 years and you paid the mortgage off in full, you would pay $22,000 less in
for that lower interest rate. That is true. Yeah, so that is true. And if that's the goal, if that's what you're working towards, absolutely, you're right. Yeah. You should
just wait.
Maybe wait, although the price is going to go up.
Yeah, it's going to eat it up anyway.
But the other thing is, please understand that even if you buy it earlier with a higher interest rate, you can refinance. When the rates go to this coveted number that you have in your head, when they go there, as long as it's 6 months or more past when you first got your mortgage, you refinance it for that lower rate.
So we do this.
Beautiful.
We do this with our HEFR for our clients, our home equity, insurance, and finance review.
Yeah.
And we look at every year, we look at how much value the home is built. We look at what your financial position is with your financing. If the interest rates have dropped significantly, you could have a refinance opportunity. We're going to help you know that.
Yeah.
We look at your insurance review as well. But she brings up a very good point in that they say you date the rate.
Yeah, you date the rate and marry the
Yeah, so it's just, and you would have paid $50,000 less, and then you get that interest rate on a loan that's $50,000 less, and you're saving even more. So it's very, very feasible to do this.
It's very well advised.
Very well advised. That is correct. Myth number 3. Waiting for the market to crash.
I know.
The market has been climbing so much over the last 10 years, it's bound to correct.
Okay, listen.
Linda, listen.
The market there are areas that it's gotten insane.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not going to disagree with that.
And there are areas where it's correcting a little bit.
And there are many of us out there who have PTSD from what happened in the early 2000s.
Yep.
But seriously, the lenders, I don't know, somebody would have to get rid of some financial oversight committees and everything.
Yes. Yep.
to stop all of the new rules and mandates and things that the lenders now have to adhere to that prevent that from ever happening again. And I just don't see that. I don't see that happening.
And so let's look historically. First of all, we do not have a crystal ball. Could prices correct, and could the market crash?
I have a gut feeling about
Just listen to Kelly. Nobody knows. But let's look historically at what's happened. Okay. This slide, now this only goes through 2022, but we know that prices have continued up from 2023 to 2026. In this slide, you can see that there's only been 7 years out of the 81 years that are accounted for on this slide where the total appreciation or the level of appreciation for the housing market was negative.
We really need to update this. I would be interested in seeing the last few years because if you guys are like me, I'm like, yeah, but a lot's happened in the last few years.
Yeah. Well, and this is nationwide. We know here that our prices have gone up. So
yeah.
So this is what happened in these 7 years. In the early 90s, when we had the recession, they went down 1%, and it's negative here because it was off of a negative number. So that's why that's marked. These are the 5 years of the 2007.
That's what we're all afraid of. That's what we all think. Oh my gosh, but what if?
That's right. But there has not been a single decade where prices have not and values have not gone up. So that's why we said earlier, if you're planning, no, we hadn't said that yet. That's why we're going to say later what we're going to say later. Stay till the end.
We have a crystal ball.
Yeah. So historically, if you're waiting for the market to crash, then you're trying to time the market. And they always say it's time in the market, not timing the market. Mm-hmm. So what would happen? We have people that have waited since 2021 that have been, as soon as those prices started going up on, excuse me, my slide was messed up. As soon as those prices started going up in 2020, they were like, the market crash is coming. It can't sustain that. And they've been waiting the last 5 years. So what's happened with those people?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what's happened with those people because I was going to say something else.
Okay. Well, you want me to answer that real quick?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
Please answer.
All right. So if a home was purchased, let's say somebody did buy in 2021, the home was purchased for $600,000.
Yes.
Appreciation 4% per year. Again, it's been higher than that over these last the 21, 22, 23, but we're going to go with 4% per year. That new home value is $720,000. Appreciation $120,000. The amount the market would need to crash to get back to that 2021 where they started waiting just to get back to even, the market would have to crash 20%. The market has not crashed 20% except for 2007, 2008, and that was a financial crisis created by the real estate industry. So when you're waiting, but the goal line keeps moving, and even if the market corrects, you're still behind the 8 ball. You're still in a negative from the wait. And the cost of waiting in this case was $120,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that also doesn't include debt pay down. Now, what were you going to say? I bet it was brilliant.
It was so brilliant, I forgot. Like my brain took it and it's like, this is on fire. And it went, and now it's ash.
Yes.
So.
All right.
Sorry about that.
All right. So mistake number 4, renting is cheaper.
This is so tough, right? I get the fear-based mindset of, yeah, but I can just get into this. It's nice. I can just do this. And it's not just that this stuff doesn't make sense to some people. It's also, they can put off making a big decision that's kind of a leap of faith that is really hard to do sometimes. And in certain environments, it just feels easier. Like, just buy me another year, buy me 6 months.
You're already on the next slide.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about renting.
I know you are, but I'm saying you're getting into the emotional side. Yes.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
But this is where you forced me to say it earlier. It's about your house is your piggy bank.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So I want you to think about this. When you are buying yourself time, it does feel safer, but it's not. Because instead of putting your monthly money, your mortgage payment into the piggy bank that is your house, you're taking your money and you're putting it into your landlord's piggy bank.
Yep.
So I would really rather see you build your piggy bank. And if something happens in a year at 4%, give it 2 years, then more of this, then sell it. In our area, not in every area, but in this area, that should still give you some peace in knowing that, hey, you're doing something for yourself and not someone else, even though it feels more calm in the moment.
Absolutely.
Talking about my kids. Okay.
Talking about your feelings. Okay. So renting is cheaper. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison. You can rent for $3,000 a month. You pay that over a 5-year period, because you can't look at just the monthly aspect. You have to look at the big picture and how this affects you. Total paid in 5 years, $180,000. That is assuming there's no increase. Most landlords have built into their leases 2 to 3% annual rent increase. So,
and we can do a maximum 36 months lease here in our area, and they do that. They'll build in the 1 or 2%.
That's right.
We see it every, like, if we don't see it, it's really
very rare.
I think I have not seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. You've paid all that money. The equity you've built is zero, obviously, because you're paying down your landlord's
You've paid
debt.
your landlord's equity, not yours.
So now let's say that mortgage is going to cost you $3,500 a month. Obviously, that's $500 more per month, and that's where the mindset is you're focused on that effect and what you have to come up with monthly.
You think, I don't have to repair anything. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. So I get it.
Yep. Total paid in 5 years, $210,000. So you paid $30,000 more than renting. So yes, that is true. Your equity built, and this is at a 7% interest rate. Again, we're running these numbers based on the current market. Based on that 7% interest rate over the 5-year period, you would have paid down your mortgage by $31,000. Okay, so you've regained that extra $30,000 right there. This does not account for appreciation. This is just strictly debt pay down. Appreciation at 4% per year would be about $100,000. So when I built this out, I built it out on the monthly payment, and then doing that, when you reverse engineer it, it was about a $520,000 mortgage. So I rounded down and did 4% per year over 5 years is $100,000. And that for the mortgage. And so the wealth and equity that you built over that 5 years for that extra $500 that you put into your piggy bank is $131,000. Again, it's up to you. You make the decision, but it appears very clear that the wealth building strategy is obviously going to be buying versus renting.
And if you do have the temperament to be able to say, hey, my landlord may not renew, or I might get crappy neighbors in a year that make me feel unsafe. If you're willing to take that on and understand you might have to move in 1, 2, or 3 years, you're willing to do that. Well, build up a piggy bank here, understanding that if something bad happened and you had to, well, you can still move in
sell the house and
2,
move.
3, 5 years, and you have money to do it with.
That's right. That's exactly right. Remember when we had to move in chiropractic school, and the only thing that paid for our move was the fact that we had bought that townhouse and we lived in it for 2 years, and when we sold it, we got a check for $2,500. We were so excited.
We really, this end-unit townhome, and it was great. We did really bad job painting it. That's so funny. But we had just enough money. I mean, living there only 2 years in Kennesaw, Georgia. There wasn't a whole lot of time to build equity. That was like in 2000. It was
2002.
2002. And we did. We had like $2,500 after paying all the fees and everything. And I'm like, yes, we broke even. We can go.
And we can pay for our move to Texas now.
Yeah, it was our piggy bank. It was our savings account.
Exactly
you know? And if we had been renting, we would not have had the money to do that.
Yeah, and we were in chiropractic school. We were absolutely broke. We would not have had the money to move if we didn't have that $2,500.
Yeah, that's true. We sold it to a neighbor of ours.
They did. Yeah.
That was so sad though. They were divorcing, and one of them was moving out, and I'm like, why would you like move?
Like a door down. Yeah.
I was like, I'm so glad we're leaving the neighborhood for that, because I don't want to be there for that.
All right. And mistake number 5, the last one we're going to cover is I'm going to wait until I feel ready.
Okay. Well, I had a lot of feelings going on already, so I'll excuse myself from this part.
This one's simple. I mean, it is a scary thing. Okay. This is not about numbers. It's about emotion. That's why I like to look at numbers to try to take the emotion out of things, because the emotions can get very overwhelming. You've got fear of the unknowns. If you're a first-time home buyer, it can seem daunting. So that's one of the reasons why we do our home buyer strategy session, is we go through the entire process so that you know exactly what's going to be going on and what's expected of you.
And I'll tell you, this is a really beautiful thing about you.
Oh, thank you.
Reach out to him. He's so used to hearing my fears and the, oh my God, the sky's falling, Chicken Little and all of that, and showing me numbers, breaking it down. He will repeat himself again and again and again until everything is calm enough that it's able to hear it. So you can do that on this topic, with us.
And I'm happy to do that. Yeah. And Kelly can be on the phone too, because she will.
And I can say, no, what they're saying is.
Yeah, she will resonate. She'll explain to me what headlines. So I talk about this on our monthly market reports, like what the median sales price is. We've gone over and we've gone into articles about how they're saying that certain thing is happening, and then we break down the article and it's like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So headlines can put fear into anybody
Yeah.
for anything. So that's something that really scares a lot of people away.
It's the bad things that sell.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
that make
Clickbait.
people want to read.
Friends, parents, that uncle that knows everything, they can tell you stories. Hey, the market's about to crash or whatever it is. They're going to give you reasons for you not to come into the market. Social media is horrible for it. Social media, it depends. I have people contacts that I'm working with that are waiting. Yeah. And they keep trying to justify to me why they're waiting by sending me all of these things that they see on social media that's saying this is why you should wait. So then I'll pull the actual stats and send it back to them and say, well, this is what it actually is. Yeah. And so it's just.
And I wish they were our kids and being like, get off social media.
Yeah, that's right.
90 days.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of these things come from the gold industry. A lot of the graphs that these people send me, the gold industry is saying that you shouldn't buy real estate, you should buy gold. Because everybody's arguing their point, basically.
Right. Yeah, so, right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have given you all the reasons why.
If we weren't in a good place to sell real estate, like if we couldn't honestly say, it's a good time to buy, you should do this. Like we've moved 15 times in our marriage. We wouldn't live here. Like we would go and do this profession at the place where you should do this profession. So that's why we live here.
Yeah, true.
Very true. We won't say, like what? We don't want to be in, where is it we don't want to be right now? Tampa.
Austin, Texas.
And Austin. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. That market's suffering. But it's not dropping 20%.
No, it's not.
It's just slow and it's a buyer's market. Okay, now.
I think it's healthy to expect some fluctuations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're, okay, from a buyer's perspective, even right now, the numbers for last week came in for the contracts and only 17% of the properties went above ask. So lowest number we've ever seen.
Wow.
So now, the other remaining 42% went at ask. Yeah. And it was like another 40% that went under asking, but the majority are going at ask or above. Mm-hmm. But it is a good market right now for buyers, and right now because it's kind of calm.
The best market for buyers we have seen in many years.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so yes, it makes sense to buy, but not always. What would be a situation where it would not make sense to you for buying? Because we have to be realistic, and it's not right for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay, so the first thing is if you don't have stable employment, even if you have a job and you've been there for 10 years and you can qualify for a loan, but you are questioning whether the industry might be replaced by AI or you're questioning your job security or something, don't get yourself into a bad situation.
Okay, case in point, us. When we moved here, you retired from the chiropractic office that we ran for 15 years. And it's like, okay, it's time to do this. We moved here to this totally cold market and we rented.
Yeah.
We moved our 4 kids, all of the animals and everything. And it was like, are we insane people for doing this? I mean, we were not in the place to take the money that we made, the lots of money we made from our Niceville house when we sold it, to just dump it into a place where we might fail.
Yeah.
So we fell into this. We at that point did not have stable employment. Luckily, it took us only a year to be top producers.
High five. Yep.
But that's
a great example. Yeah. So we rented during that time.
If you come to us and you say this is where we're at, we're going to say it's not time for you to buy yet.
That's right. Absolutely.
But we ended up buying the house that we rented.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's the second time we've done that.
Yep. The last 2 houses we bought, we rented first.
Yeah.
If you're likely to move within 2 to 3 years, so this is not a steadfast rule.
I disagree with this one.
Yeah, it's not a steadfast rule. If markets do fluctuate, if prices do dip a little bit, the only time you lose money is when you sell when the market is down. If you can stay in a property at least 5 years, you're going to tolerate any of those fluctuations, even the 2010 debacle.
But what if you do my dream come true? What if you buy a property that's been on the market for a while? You're not being outbid by people because it's just crappy enough that not everybody wants to pay full price for it, but it's not so crappy all the investors are fighting for it. You live in it, fix it up. This is what we did. This is what we're doing in ours now. Yeah. And then you sell it for so much more in the 2 to 3 years, and you don't pay capital gains after 2 years.
Honey,
so I think if you got the wherewithal and you got the vision, I disagree with this.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Move me in with you. I'll do it. I'll be the roommate. I'll come and I'll do this. This is like, I dream about this. This is my favorite thing.
You're not moving into anybody else's house, just to be clear. So yes, this point could be very, very well argued.
I think I just proved that.
Absolutely. But for most people, if you're going to move into, if you're going to buy a top market property, like buy a brand new house, and you know you're moving in 2 to 3 years, I wouldn't do it.
Unless you want to lease
rental.
it.
Yeah, and if you don't want to be
the landlord and have someone if you're one of the fearful people and you're like, it's just going to be easier to rent, then you like those people when you're the landlord, because then they're putting money in your bank account.
Do you see how hard it is to even argue for when you should wait? Like we've just destroyed this.
No, not the first one. I totally supported
that one. Is true. That is true. And maybe these other ones. High interest debt. So yes, if you're carrying high interest debt, it's probably better to pay that down before you invest in a house. But that's a personal financial decision. We've carried high interest debt and bought a house. It just really depends.
I hate high interest debt so much.
Yeah. So this is just something.
It's really sad.
You can use your piggy bank to pay off the high interest debt. Yeah,
we've done that.
Yes. In all seriousness, going back to the high interest debt, let's say that you're looking at a property and you want to potentially purchase the property and somehow get some seller concessions back. That could help you. You're basically financing that seller concession back. You could pay off that high interest debt. There's strategies to actually use this to better improve.
Well, and there is. And keeping on the high interest debt part, we had a client that comes to mind specifically. I think there have been a few, but they bought, and within a year, they lost their job. Luckily, they bought wisely and did some renovations. And so they were able to get an equity loan and use their home that they bought, that they invested in, their piggy bank, to help
bridge that gap
where they had to start spending on credit cards while they waited for the other job. So that was another place where your investment in your home can help the what ifs that do come up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And sure, there are what ifs, like what if your HVAC goes out? What if you have a roof leak? You do have to deal with that. But then there are also the other what ifs where it can really save you.
Yeah. If your emergency fund will be wiped out. So this one I completely agree with, especially if you're in an income bracket like we are, where it's 100% commission based, you don't have a stable income. If you are in an income where you still have 30% margin and you can build that emergency fund back up, maybe this doesn't apply to you. But if you're going to wipe yourself down to zero to buy a house, and then if the HVAC goes out and you have a $5,000 bill and you can't afford it, or $12,000 bill and you can't afford it, don't put yourself in that situation. Wait, build up some more money.
And that's kind of for us where it tied into the stable employment, right?
Yeah.
Like our emergency fund would have been wiped out without the stable employment.
Exactly.
So it was like, no.
Yep, exactly right. And if you can't afford the monthly payment, so
even if you qualify.
Yeah, that's really important, because the lenders, they do a really, really good job of making sure you meet debt to income ratios. But you may have debts that don't show up on this thing. You may have a gambling habit. You may have
and ours, whoever told us that in our house, this would not have happened in Florida with the quality of our hurricane-proof windows and everything. This would not have happened down there.
Yeah.
But in our house, who would have said that our power bill would be $900 a month?
Yeah,
for a 4-bedroom.
And that's not showing up on the debt.
No, they don't know. Like they don't know any of that.
Yeah,
that's insane. Or your lender doesn't know that. They don't ask you, okay, how many kids do you have and what are their ages, and are, I don't know, 4 of them at once going to be driving, and you're paying their car insurance and their gas, and when they wreck into poles and parked cars in parking spaces, your lender's not going to ask you that.
And are you going to have to buy them a car, cash, so that they can wreck into all these things and not? Anyway, so make sure you can afford it.
I don't even think they ask you if you get your hair dyed. Notice I don't get my hair dyed. I don't get my hair dyed. Too busy paying for kids wrecking into shit.
That's right. Braces aren't on there.
They don't ask you if you have to put kids into braces.
Yeah. Do you have medical debt? That's not on there. It's not showing up on your...
Do you need Botox?
Okay. Anyway, make sure you can afford the payment.
Right. And the quality of life. Yeah. And you could, but it's not advisable to put your kids up for adoption just so you can afford your mortgage. I think that would be a problem for them.
You told me
and then you have to pay for therapy.
You told me I couldn't put the line in the video. It's so big, you're going to lose your kids. And now you're talking about adopting kids out so you can buy a house.
That was a promotional, commercial video. These people have probably shut us off by now.
That's right. All right. So the long story short, there are situations where it would not make sense for you to buy. So Kelly and I would be happy to sit down with you in your situation, go over your finances with you, go over your situation, and look at the market and say, does this make sense? The last thing we want to do is put a buyer support a buyer going into a home and then seeing them struggle in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But we also don't want to see you making financial mistakes.
Right.
So we'd be happy to sit down with you and go through this with you and see, does it make sense to buy or does it make sense to wait? And sometimes it goes either way.
And we're not just a couple of like real estate yahoos. Like I have my mortgage lending license. I can help walk you through what that profile, the lending loan profile looks like. And we do the property and casualty insurance so that we can help make sure that when you do get into things that they are well protected for your needs and everything that you have, right?
Yeah.
Insurance gets a bigger picture of your whole life, all of those kids and how dangerous they are and everything else. So we are able to sit down and answer myriad questions of what you might have for your whole
totally off topic. Totally off topic. We just did a heifer for a client of ours.
Equity, finance,
and insurance review. We just did this for a client of ours, and Kelly discovered that they were paying double on their homeowner's insurance, like $2,500 a year extra, because the insurer gave them insurance for more than what the house was worth, which they would never.
Like they paid $1 million for this house, and their replacement cost estimate was like 1.3. Okay, your replacement cost, it doesn't include the land and everything else. You're significantly less than what you paid for your house. And they were paying over $4,000 a year for this, and they should be paying like a little over $2,000.
Yes.
I think they were at 45 and they should be about 22.
Yeah. So the whole point is when we sit down with you, we're not going to just like run basic numbers. We've got the whole package in mind of what it's going to cost you and the reality of it. So if you're interested in this, give us a call, 703-783-2143. And do you have any more emotions to throw out there?
No, I'm saving them up for you.
Oh, great. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.